Okay, so the opening weekend of the 2023 NRL season has concluded. There were some fantastically close games, and there were a couple of blowout scores as well. Some teams really disappointed, some teams really surprised, so let's break it down. Now, obviously, the St George Illawarra Dragons got the bye this week because it's now a 17-team competition, so they weren't playing this weekend. But the opening match of the season was the Parramatta Eels at home against the Melbourne Storm. This was a fantastic match. The concerns coming out of this game for both sides is the injuries. Cameron Munster, that compound fracture dislocation of his finger, which is quite a serious injury, especially for a halfback. That's the major injury concern. Melbourne do win on the night. They won 16 points to 12. That means Craig Bellamy has never lost an opening round fixture as head coach of the Melbourne Storm, and this most likely his last year. That is an insane record. But Melbourne do look human. They don't look as dominant as they have been in previous years. And the question always comes up, is this the year they finally fall off? I think Melbourne will find things a bit tougher this season than in previous seasons, although the warning signs were there last year that they are not the team that they were at their peak. And losing the Bromwich brothers and Kafusi and others from that team, I think, is starting to have an impact. And of course, Ryan Pappenhausen, we don't know when he's going to be back either. On the Parramatta side of things, again, they've lost a lot of key players from last year's grand final team, but they were in this contest all the way till the final whistle. So I think both sides will be top 8. It's where they finish. But it's first round, anything can happen. Both sides could have disastrous seasons. Both sides could then hit a complete vein of form and get some momentum going. So we'll see where they are after 5 rounds in. The second game of the weekend was the Warriors versus the Knights. What position is Caelan Ponga's best position? Now, they've moved him into the halves for this season from fullback. Is that the right move? And that question is going to be asked constantly until Newcastle start winning games, because New Zealand won 20 points to 12 in Wellington. So they weren't playing up in Auckland, they were playing in Wellington. Decent crowd. Could have been more fans in the stadium, but a decent crowd. New Zealand winning 20 points to 12, as I say. Yeah, Newcastle Knights, the enigma of Caelan Ponga, where you play him. Now, they have had some player turnover. There were some question marks last season about their intensity and the direction of the team. Same with the Warriors as well. Warriors, new coach coming in. Yes, again, can the Warriors finally end this mediocre spell that they've had for many, many years where they haven't really done much? Now, the interesting thing is, and I've been looking at, obviously, the wooden spoon seasons. As far as I'm aware, Warriors have never had a wooden spoon, but they've never won a grand final. They're sort of dull and average, and they don't kick on. Can this be the season the Warriors finally change direction and make some positive moves up the ladder, because they really had a poor season as well? This was two sides didn't play well last year. Good game, but the Caelan Ponga situation, what's his best position? Because, as I say, waits like 4 or 5 rounds in. If Newcastle start making progress with him in 6 or 7, and the conversation changes. But until they start winning games, there's going to be that question mark. Also, he did not complete the game. There was an HIA check that he failed. So, could concussion derail another night season for Caelan Ponga? Penrith Panthers playing Brisbane. Penrith Panthers have lost the opening game of the season. The Broncos win the opening game of the season. Kevin Walters coming into this season under a lot of pressure. Comments in the press from current and ex-players about the coaching setup at Brisbane. It was a close game. It was a very fun encounter. Herbie Farnsworth, as I said, one of my favourite players, and there's a bit of an English bias there, but he is one of my favourite players. He really impressed me in the World Cup. He's really developed really well at Brisbane. Obviously, he is joining the Dolphins for next season. That's going to be a loss for the Broncos. But Penrith looking human. They're missing Kikau and Coruscant badly. The combinations haven't settled in Luai. The St Helens proved the way to beat Penrith, shut down Luai. It puts added pressure onto Cleary. He's got to do more kicking. Luai doesn't have that link-up play on the left-hand side, and it shuts down an avenue of attack. Penrith, yeah, they lose. So they are looking human. I don't think they do 3 in a row. I personally don't think they do 3 in a row. The World Club Challenge and this game against Brisbane, they look clunky at times. Now they will improve, and they the wheels will turn. But I think 3 grand finals in a row has finally caught up with them. The Manly Warringah Sea Eagles versus the Canterbury Bulldogs, that's finished 31 points to 6. This is the only real blowout scoreline of the first round. But at half time, it was I think 6-6 at half time. The second half, Manly have just destroyed Canterbury. There is that dubious sin binning for Flanagan, which is not a sin binning, so that's a refereeing and bunker error. Never a sin bin. The Broncos beat Penrith 13 points to 12. 31-6 to Manly, so that's sin binning. We can debate that. It's not a sin binning, but someone may agree that there is contact of the ball, but it's not a sin binning really. There's hardly any contact there. But the Trbojevic brothers, all three of them having a massive impact on the game. Canterbury, the first half they were good, second half, Manly got a steamroller on them. The way the Sea Eagles season ended last year, Anthony Seibold, first game back as a head coach after what happened to Brisbane. He was showing signs at South Sydney that, he is a good coach. The Brisbane situation, wrong coach, wrong club, it just didn't work. First game back as a head coach, and it's a thumping win. So technically, Manly are actually top of the NRL ladder by virtue of points scored and points conceded. North Queensland Cowboys, Canberra Raiders. As a Raiders fan, this was it was a game of two halves. North Queensland in the first half, clearly the best side. Canberra, lucky to finish with 13 players on the field. I think Jordan Rapana should have been sent, in my opinion. And that is a shoulder charge. That's not an attempted tackle. There's no rap there. But the Raiders, they keep doing this. They like comebacks. The Raiders' game management's not good enough. It wasn't good enough last season. Yes, we get in the 8, but North Queensland, sometimes you need a game like this to set up your season. They were a bit nervy in the second half. But Chad Townsend, an experienced player, 19 points to 18. So that could have gone either way. It was a tale of two halves. North Queensland better in the first half, Canberra better in the second half, but very lucky to have a full complement of players at the end. I think Jordan Rapana, I think his time in the NRL is basically up. And some of his brain explosions, as a Raiders fan, piss me off because it costs the team. The Cronulla Sutherland Sharks versus South Sydney Rabbitohs. It's finished 27 points to 18 to the Bunnies. Nicho Hines not playing, I think, has had an impact on the Sharks. There were moments in this game with discipline. It was an end-to-end game, and South Sydney just got hold of that momentum towards the end and scored some more points and took the game away from Cronulla at the end. Good game, though. Good game. Very enjoyable game. But they did miss Nicho Hines on the field a little bit. It just shows how integral one player is to the attack and the organisation of a team. But I don't think the Sharks will be too worried about that. They've just got to bounce back in following weeks and get some momentum going. The Bunnies, they're a pretty solid side. Let's not kid ourselves. Although Latrell Mitchell, is that going to be a long-term knee injury? Is that going to be an issue? He had an issue in the game. He did come out for the second half with a lot of strapping on his knee. Obviously, he's had those hamstring and calf muscle issues, a knee problem. It's all linked. All the tendons and ligaments and muscles are linked, so hopefully it's not a recurrence of further hamstring and calf problems as well. But that's a knee issue. I believe he completed the game, but bear that in mind. That could be a concern for South Sydney going forward. I personally think Latrell Mitchell's better at left centre, but at club level he plays at fullback. There were times where he seemed disinterested in the game. As in the sense of he's not involved all the time. So I think possibly left centre possibly could be a better position for him, but that's my personal opinion. The game of the round and possibly the most entertaining game, in my personal opinion, the Dolphins beating the Roosters 28 points to 18 up at Suncorp. The Roosters were just dreadful in the second half. The Dolphins, look, outsiders going in, the new team. They've obviously been cobbled together in the off-season. I say cobbled together. Wayne Bennett hasn't got all the signings he wanted to get, but the players that are there are committed to the cause. Kaufusi leading that defence. Very physical defence. They beat up the Roosters physically. And then the Roosters defensively were not good enough. It doesn't matter the quality of players on paper. Games aren't won on paper, they're won on the field. And the Roosters, much like what I think was going to happen with Penrith and possibly with Melbourne, all that success and those extra games in the final series and that extra intensity and all those extra games the players have to play, it's caught up with them. They're not the team that they were 2-3 years ago. And they were really poor today in the second half. First half, they're in the lead at one point. It's 12 all at half time. Second half, they were dreadful. The Dolphins fully deserved the win. They could have and should have probably scored more. They should have could have scored more. So 28-18, I think, is flattering for the Roosters. Roosters were really bad. The West Tigers, final game of the weekend at home. Tim Sheen's, the Messiahs, return. Gold Coast Titans. Gold Coast Titans have beaten 22 points to 10. Yeah, West Tigers had a lot of possession. Gold Coast defence held up well. Defensively, much better. Fafita had a much better impact on this game than he did in large amounts of last season. Aaron Shop playing on the other centre when he was playing on the left centre for Canterbury, he's playing right centre for Gold Coast. Defensively, he has stopped several attacks. I like Aaron Shop. He's a hard-working centre, absolute mountain of a man. He's a big bloke as well. The West Tigers forcing the play. You can see what the West Tigers are trying to do. I think they are going to have some success against some teams this season with their attack. Defensively, though, when the ball gets turned over, because the style of play they're playing is high risk. Yes, there's high reward, but it's high risk, and when it does get turned over, they leave themselves exposed. And Gold Coast took advantage of that. And Gold Coast had a shocking start to the game. Kick off out on the full, drop out as well. They really had a poor start to the game. The Gold Coast were on the back foot at the beginning, but they scored the tries, and West Tigers with all that possession didn't. So well-deserved win by the Gold Coast Titans. Although the Gold Coast, there is need for improvement. Again, it's round 1. About round 5, we'll get an idea of how teams are the trajectory of teams. But there we go. That's the round 1 review. Some teams disappointed me. Like the Roosters, for example. Penrith, disappointing. I don't think they got their combinations right. Some teams really, impressed me. The Dolphins, obviously, that's just pure emotion. But hey, defensively, they look sound. Physically as well, they look really. Their pre-season, they've had a longer pre-season than most clubs. In that respect, they look physically well prepared, and it's a Wayne Bennett side, so you know they're going to be a decent side. Newcastle, disappointed with them. Penrith, I've got some concerns about them. Raiders, can we please put in an 80-minute performance? And can Jordan Rapana please behave himself? The Roosters, poor. West Tigers, wasteful. So there we go. That's my review of the opening round of the NRL season. There are some injury concerns for a lot of teams that will have to be assessed, that we'll find out in the coming days. Obviously, Cameron Munster in the opening game of the weekend against Parramatta is break and a possible dislocation of one of his fingers. It's punctured the skin. So, yeah, he finished the game with a lot of strapping on his hand, but that requires surgery. And there's some other injuries to note as well. Thank you very much for watching. Place your thoughts in the comment section below. And from this pond to you Aussies, bye for now.